Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. 3 people are taken to hospital following a fire in Sault Ste. Marie. Police say they're investigating the cause, which is suspicious. Plus, it's been 1 week of strike action at Laurentian University, and neither side shows signs of backing down.
Our pension fund was decimated.
And that's a conversation we're fully committed to having.
Well, the latest on the disruption from campus. And the city of Timmins is getting a new water tower.
Timmins is well poised to grow, and you can't grow without infrastructure.
City officials say they're looking to spur development.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. 1 person has died. Several others were injured following a crash in Sturgeon Falls. The 2 vehicles collided on Nipissing Street around 11:30 Saturday night. A 62-year-old Sudbury woman was pronounced dead at the scene, while the 2 other occupants in the same vehicle were treated by paramedics. 4 people in the second vehicle were transported to hospital, 1 with life-threatening injuries and the others with serious injuries. A weekend fire in Sault Ste. Marie at an apartment complex is now being investigated by police. Firefighters responded around 2 a.m. Sunday to reports of a residential fire on 2nd Line West. Smoke and fire were visible upon arrival, with significant damage to the building. Sault Fire called in all units as well as an overtime crew to fight the blaze. 3 people had to be taken to hospital for precautionary reasons. The cause of the fire has been deemed suspicious in nature. 3 fires in Cochran destroyed homes over the weekend, including one in a rural part of the community. Fire broke out at a home on Nama Road around 9:30 Saturday night. The brutally cold temperatures and the rural location of the home making fighting the fire a challenge. The fire chief, Richard DeFallet, telling CTV News water had to be trucked in to battle back the flames.
We did establish a water shuttle from the scene up to the fire hall and back and forth, but every time like our tanker truck would come back to the hall, it was totally frozen. So we had to take blow torches and get all the valves open, fill it up with water, and back to the scene again. So that was very challenging for us for most of the night.
The fire marshal's office has been called in to investigate the blaze. Meanwhile, Cochran Mayor Peter Politis putting out a statement over the weekend expressing condolences, saying 2 people died in the Nama Road fire. Well, there were some tense moments just before noon today in Sudbury after multiple people reported injured outside of a home on Kathleen Street. Police say they responded to unknown trouble on Kathleen, where multiple individuals were found outside with serious cuts and lacerations. They believe 3 people were involved in an altercation inside the building, leading them to all becoming injured. Officers say they've recovered the weapons involved. The trio are facing weapons-related charges and remain in hospital in police custody. A school in Blind River was closed today after police received a call about a sudden death. École Saint Joseph closed as OPP conducted its investigation. They got the call around 6:30 this morning and found a 41-year-old Blind River resident dead at the school on the property. The investigation is ongoing, but foul play is not suspected. Human remains found in Northern Ontario have been confirmed to be those of a missing Windsor man. Windsor police say the remains discovered in October near Timmins belong to 37-year-old David Pavao. Pavao was reported missing in August last year. Investigators have now confirmed he was murdered. Police say 5 people have been arrested. A 54-year-old, a 27-year-old are charged with first-degree murder and indecent interference with a dead body. 3 others are also facing charges. Algoma Steel has signed a binding memorandum of understanding with South Korean shipbuilder Hanwha Ocean to the tune of $345 million. The signing ceremony took place earlier today with Ontario Trade Minister Vic Fideli in attendance. It's predicated on the South Korean business winning the federal contract to building a fleet of submarines for the Canadian military. The company is pledging $275 million to develop a structural steel beam mill in the Sault, as well as promises to purchase products from Algoma Steel. The repayment plan for Algoma Steel consists of 10 years in payments equal to 3% of the net sales of the beam mill facility. The city of Timmins is getting a second water tower. Today, the province announced funding for the project, which will take around 18 months to complete. CTV's Lydia Chubak has more.
Timmins MPP George Peary says the province is giving close to $24 million to build a new water tower in South Porcupine.
There's been a chronic problem in the east end of South Porcupine with water pressure, and this solves that problem.
The funding comes from the province's municipal housing infrastructure program.
Timmins is well poised to grow, and you can't grow without infrastructure. So it's been a real pleasure for me to partner with the City of Timmins.
Housing is one of the city's priorities, but to get more residential and industrial developments in the East End, the mayor says the city needs to overcome challenges with its water distribution system.
And that's what this water tower will be able to do. But there's another piece to the puzzle, and that will be the wastewater treatment. And so I think the next step now, if we want to be able to continue talking about growth in the East End, we'll be looking at that. So the work continues.
I was always been told, and the community's been told, that we can't develop because we had a lack of sewage, we have lack of water, we had a lack of a lot of things. So we are moving in that direction, that the East End is really open for business.
The city is investing $2 million in the new water tower, which will be located on Gold Mine Road near the Dome Mine.
We started a lot of the work, or the commencement work, a couple months ago. We started with the site clearing. We've actually installed all our concrete piles to hold this superstructure. And then now in the next year and a half, you're going to start seeing a lot more activity pick up. We're going to start with the concrete pouring in February, end of February. And then, we'll start seeing the moment of when this tower will get built in the next year and a half.
City officials say the new water tower is supposed to be one of the biggest in the province, and it has yet to be officially named. But Tam says that's already sparked a lot of curiosity among residents, so stay tuned for that. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, South Porcupine.
Some major new infrastructure for a water project is coming soon to the community of Verner in West Nipissing. The Ontario government will be providing more than $18 million to allow the community to expand while providing an alternative source of water for homes in Verner. The project cost is about $24 million. The province will cover 3/4, with the municipality covering the rest. It'll include construction of a new water main from Cache Bay to Verner and converting Verner's existing treatment plant into a pumping station.
When we're living in, a very developed part of the country, and our residents on the regular basis are having discolored water, it's a concern. So what this will do is provide water from our main source, the Sturgeon, which is a very good source of water.
The existing water treatment plant would have reached its life expectancy in 2035. Construction will begin in June 2027 and take almost 2 years to complete. It's been almost 1 week since the Laurentian University Faculty Association, or LUFA, began strike action. The two sides are still not back at the bargaining table. CTV's Lindsay Alick has the latest.
Laurentian University President Lynn Wells says as an administrative team, they are committed to the long-term sustainability of the university.
That means that we need to have a balanced budget every year, and that we need to make sure that we're not putting Laurentian back into a position where it's not financially sustainable for the future. So with all that in mind, we looked at our finances, we did all of the analysis, and we figured out the best possible deal that we could put on the table. And we've done that now.
LUFA President Fabrice Collins says it does not acknowledge everything members went through during the CCAA process.
We suffered a cut of 5%, followed by 2 years of freeze, followed by 3 years at 1%. We lost 2 years of seniority. We had 15 furlough days. So indeed, our salaries are far from the sector norm, and as you also are aware, our pension plan was decimated.
We recognize that it is important to Faculty Association members that we look at the possibility of moving into UPP, the University Pension Plan, and that's a conversation we're fully committed to having.
Meantime, on the picket line, Collins says morale is really good, but there have been some incidents that they are looking into.
Members mentioning that private investigators and security personnel, but not from Laurentian, were asking for names, picket captain names, emails. We saw also an incident on Friday with students returning from their Valley and were asked to fold, their sign before being allowed to return on campus.
Both sides confirmed there are no dates set currently to return to bargaining, but that they are ready to get back to the table. The last time that LUFA was on strike in 2017, it lasted 9 days. Lindsay Alex, CTV News, Sudbury.
Leadership of a Northern Ontario First Nation says its recent multi-million-dollar investment is about the future for its community members. But the location of that new property generates a lot of questions. CTV's Angela Gemmell explains.
This is the Connect Centre in downtown Edmonton. It was purchased for $65 million by Wikwemkong unceded territory, a community more than 3,000 kilometers away.
It was bigger than a property acquisition. It was about generating and looking at a long-term sustainability for our community moving forward.
Wiki leadership was made aware of the turnkey property last fall, and even though the opportunity is 2 provinces away, the chief says it will provide financial sustainability for his community.
It offered the strongest combination of value, stability, and growth potential at that time when it was presented to us.
There are already long-term tenants with potential to construct a further 30 to 35 stories for either residential or commercial space. In a post on his Facebook page, the mayor of Edmonton said it's a clear signal that our downtown has momentum. It echoes that the potential we see in Edmonton extends beyond city limits. Investors are also listening and recognizing the opportunities our city has to offer.
This would allow us to put those funds that are going to be generated towards either healthcare systems that some of our band members may be having issues with, some housing developments, not only on but off reserve.
Prior to the deal, the chief did reach out to local leadership in the Edmonton area.
We didn't go into someone else's land to look at acquiring land. This was about relationship building, and I ensured that I communicated that and spoke with those other leaders out there prior to even moving forward with this.
Despite fielding questions from the Wikwemkong community and beyond, the chief confirms there is no buyer's remorse, calling this an out-of-the-box opportunity to generate revenue for his community. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, we'll have your full weather forecast. For now, look at the weather warnings. Parry Sound, snow squall. You are going to see potentially 10 to 20 centimeters Tuesday afternoon, 5 centimeters potentially an hour, and travel could be hazardous. French River and West Nipissing under a squall watch, near 10 centimeters possible south of Lake Nipissing. Heavy and local blowing snow. Manitoulin Island snow squall warning. The North Shore is under a lake effect statement, and we've got a yellow snow squall warning up the Highway 17 corridor from Sault Ste. Marie to Wawa. Highway 17 once again closed. Here are the current conditions as we see them. Minus 20 in Kapuskasing, minus 21 in Timmins. We're starting to see some heavy snow in around Wawa. Parry Sound, North Bay, minus 19. We'll have details after the break. Welcome back. Well, it's looking more and more like a night to stay indoors if you can swing it. Rick is off, so I've got your full weather forecast starting with the radar. Let's see that white band of snow making its way over Michigan right now. That is what I'm currently watching, because guess what? That is headed our way, and it's already starting to impact places like Wawa, but it's going to start dissipating Tuesday morning as school starts, but it's going to be enough to make some driveways a mess, some travel hazardous, and along Highway 17 from Sault Ste. Marie to Wawa and along Highway 69 for sure. Then it's going to gradually start moving its way out of the region for most areas except along Lake Superior again, and by about Wednesday we should be seeing mostly sunny skies except for in along the Georgian Bay. And then by Wednesday night, take a look at that, mostly clear skies. Moving into the 7-day forecast, Sudbury, Nickel Belt, we have a slight chance of flurries tomorrow during the day. A mix of sun and cloud Wednesday, minus 15, minus 17 Thursday with sunshine. That's when that system moves out. A mix of sun and cloud Friday, and then sunshine Saturday. Overall, not too bad, but still well below the normal for this time of year. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, you're going to see more snow than the most of us, -12 with 2 to 4 centimeters possible. Flurries on Wednesday, sunshine Thursday. That system again moving out. Then we've got a mix of sun and cloud for Friday and Saturday. Things gradually starting to warm up and get back to normal, which I think is good news for most of us. Timmins Cochran campus Casing, we've got periods of snow tomorrow. Not a lot though, -13. Things get cold for Wednesday, Thursday, -18 across there. And then some flurries Thursday, Friday, a mix of sun and cloud for the weekend. And again, things warming up by the end of the week. So overall, not too bad. Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, we've got light snow again for tomorrow. Like most of us, you're going to probably see the tail end of those snow squall watches that most of us will be impacted by. -12, -18 Wednesday, -20 on Thursday. Chilly up there, but sunshine. We've got flurries Friday, and then sunshine returns for Saturday and snow on Sunday. But things again starting to move up. We're starting to get out of that cold territory, which is really good news. North Bay, West Nipissing, we've got 2 to 4 centimeters possible. You're going to see a lot in around south of Lake Nipissing, according to the forecast models, -10. We've got a mix of sun and cloud Wednesday and Thursday. Cloudy for Friday with -10. The sun resumes on Saturday, -10, -6 for Sunday. Normal this time of year is a -7. So good to see us get back to that normal territory and hopefully out of that freezing cold warnings. Well, this winter has been an extraordinary one. Most of us are seeing lots of snow and extreme cold. No one maybe more than the community of Wawa. Wawa Snow Riders, which maintains trails from their community to Duberville and beyond, posting this video of trails being blocked by downed trees which fell from heavy snow. Officials say they still have a lot of work to do to clear the brush, and they are working to come up with a plan. A lot of that brush right now is on the D South Trail towards Searchmont and Chapleau.
It sounds like it can't be a bad thing, but it definitely throws a wrench into the plans. We are picking a way through it. All our north trails are open, or most of them anyways, and we have a plan in order trying to get this south trail open.
Wawa averages over 300 centimeters of lake effect snow every winter, and while there's been a lot already, with 2 months left until the end of the season, there is still likely more snow to come. Ontario is facing a shortage of road salt, and this weekend's weather didn't help. One of the largest salt mines in the world near Goderich says it's been operating below capacity in recent years because of market demand. However, as CTV's Scott Miller reports, the market has now changed dramatically.
Over 100 trucks are lined up outside the Goderich salt mine today, stretching all the way up North Harbour Road onto Highway 21. It's been like this for weeks, say locals, as the province grapples with a salt shortage. The mine, the largest salt mine in the world, is shipping de-icing salt as quickly as they can mine it these days, they say, thanks to one of the most severe winters in a long time. With the significant impact of winter weather compared to recent seasons, the entire road salt supply chain continues to experience high demand for de-icing salt. At Compass Minerals, we are actively working to fulfill all current orders, prioritizing shipments for our municipal clients, says Compass Minerals in a written statement. Goderich's salt mine produces about 7.25 million tons of salt each year, but has the capacity to mine 9 million tons. In 2024, Compass curtailed production of salt to align inventory with business conditions, which means instead of having huge stockpiles of salt sitting in inventory, they decided to produce salt more on an as-needed basis. Well, it's needed now, as de-icing salt has quickly become the most valuable commodity this winter.
We got 33 skids in yesterday, and I'm down to 12 already today.
From in November, prices being $132 a ton, we're up to $290. So the overall price is about a 220% from where it was originally.
The trucks, train, and boats loading salt in Goderich today are dealing mostly with municipalities who are also talking about curtailing or at least closely monitoring their salt supplies as they try to keep roads passable during one of the toughest winters in years. Without sharing specifics, Compass says they're ramping up production as best they can to meet the constant and growing demand for their granules of snow melting magic. We are focused on moving product as efficiently as possible while also maximizing daily output from our Goderich mine to ensure optimal full-season inventory availability across our network. we remain committed to serving all our valued customers in Ontario and all the markets that we serve. The lineups aren't likely to end anytime soon here at the world's largest salt mine in Goderich. There is more snow and more cold weather on the way, which means salt will be at a premium probably all winter long. In Goderich, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. Nickel Belt's MPP says it was a whistleblower that revealed information about LifeLabs leaving the north. More on that in a moment. An instant crossword scored a Sudbury resident $100,000. Laura Fong says she thought she'd won $100 and was happy with that, only to learn it was substantially more. Laura says she's planning to save for her kids' futures and invest in a little spa day as a treat. And Crystal Rivers from Parry Sound also feeling lucky. She won $100,000 playing Encore. She and her husband are packing their bags for a trip to Australia. Congratulations to you both. A motion going before North Bay City Council tomorrow is calling for a review of the city's short-term rental bylaw. The motion put forward by Councillor Sarah Inch says only 8 short-term rental properties have registered with the city, despite evidence there are active but unregistered properties. Inch is requesting city staff report back with options on improving bylaw compliance. She's also requesting the registration fee for short-term rentals be temporarily suspended to not disadvantage residents who are attempting to follow the law. Nickel Belt MPP France Gelina says a whistleblower is how she learned of Sudbury LifeLabs closing its processing laboratory. A move she says that puts jobs and healthcare access at risk. CTV's Madison Merrier has more.
40 staff members at LifeLabs in Sudbury received notice that they will be losing their positions this spring as testing will now be done in Southern Ontario.
Stop this. At the core of it, LifeLabs, Diagnostic Quest, the American company, has a contract. They sign a contract with the provincial government in order to be paid. It is our taxes. It is the provincial government who pays the bill.
Jeff Morton is a retired manager from LifeLabs Sudbury who said the closure is disappointing but not surprising.
We're missing that lab reform, when we're missing the government looking at those opportunities, and we're just accepting that we're now going to be held hostage by a for-profit system and an external system within the hospital that's not equipped to deal with this.
A point of concern for Northerners is the distance samples have to go to for testing now. And Morton said the closure may have a ripple effect down the line.
I think the temptation is going to be over time to say, geez, you know, the afternoon is slower, so let's try to get as much in the morning and let's limit some hours of accessibility for those people to reduce our courier costs further down the road.
The Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, said that while the government is not responsible for LifeLabs delivery and operations, the government is expanding the Learn and Stay grant to include medical laboratory technologists. Cambrian College had 2 placements with LifeLabs which have already been absorbed by other companies, and students have reportedly not mentioned any fear about their future employment in Northern Ontario. But MPPs are looking at the long-term future.
40 workers are worried about where they can continue to have an income. And then you have a government who brags about, oh, but, you know, like you can become a medical laboratory technologist in Northern Ontario and never be able to find a job. That's the part that they forget to say.
The MPPs in the area remain concerned about the closure and the long-term impacts it will have to accessing healthcare in the north. A petition was started opposing the closure, and it has just under 900 digital signatures. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Finally tonight, Project Lifesaver, a program that uses radio frequency technology to find people who are prone to wandering, is expanding in the Parry Sound and Almaguin Highlands region. On Friday, members of the Bemidji Search and Rescue Team completed their instructor-level training with the president of Bay Search and Rescue. Although Project Lifesaver was provided by local paramedics, running the program was outside of their core community paramedic services. If a search was required, the paramedics were not equipped or trained to help OPP. So Stan French recommended the transfer of Project Lifesaver's administrative functions to the volunteer group that is also trained in search and rescue. And after completing their training, Bemidji is now ready to assist police.
They're very happy that our model is now being used in that district. So The volunteer group is going to be managing this in collaboration with the West Parry Sound OPP and the Almaguin OPP.
Baysar has 48 children in the Project Lifesaver program thanks to One Kid's Place. That's good news. Expanding it, that's going to save a lot of people. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Monday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Thanks for watching.